opening day. It is the home opener for the Boston Red Sox. Fenway Park is back in the business of baseball, and the Sox are back home ready to take on the Toronto Blue Jays. First pitch just a few moments away as the Sox, after a long night of planes, trains, automobiles, and just about everything else imaginable, are back in town and ready to go. Tom Karen, Bob Tewksbury here with you in our Nesson's Baseball studios. A great opening ceremony, as always.
It's so great to see the whole ceremony is wonderful. The person that sung the anthem, I mean, right from the Jets, but to see the Patriots come out, I mean, I got goosebumps again, and we were in studio watching. I couldn't imagine being out there, but just, and as I was saying, what's really cool about that, having met some former athletes, is that they're on the field going, this is Fenway Park, there's Curt Schilling, and the Red Sox players are going, there's Tom Brady. You know?
It was a great ceremony. Great to have the, again, we don't like to use the term old-timers a lot, but great to bring the tradition and history with all the great former Red Sox players out to be part of this, as well as the Patriots.
No, that was a nice touch to see a lot of the guys that have played here that are in quest of that World's Championship, and the year continues as the fans, we saw the sign, this is the year, this indeed may be the year. And the fans are excited to get kicked off here. And what a great way to do this with the second Super Bowl trophy. Yeah, they had them both out there, no question about it. Always fun, and we talked about it in the pregame show, to listen to the reaction of the crowd. Curt Schilling got as big an opening day ovation as I've heard in my time covering the Red Sox. Yeah, I think Nomar's was big, and Kurt's definitely was big. I think it was like he's the savior. He's the guy. I mean, that's what I felt like.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Thank you. He's finally here. Now, we'll see, hopefully.
Just that one piece added to the puzzle, because, again, it was such a good team last year. But I think when you talk about the optimism, Thanksgiving, as soon as he became a member of the Red Sox, Game 7 at Yankee Stadium was forgotten, and it was all about looking forward to this week and this day at Fenway.
Well, and Peter Gammons talked about it in the Open, that this club, for the first time since Peter's been following the Boston Red Sox, which has been years, that this club is built for the postseason. Right. And it was with the acquisition of Curt Schilling that happened.
There's been a lot of optimism here in New England. Let me ask you this. From what I gather, talking to friends, reading the internet, looking around the country, people still picking the Yankees. Are we getting a little caught up in this, or is this team ready to contend for the whole thing?
Well, I mean, I think until you dethrone the Yankees, they probably should be the pick. You know, the Red Sox are always chasing the Yankees. I think they've certainly come to par with them on paper. For the start of the season, I think that the Boston Red Sox are a better team. But I cannot argue with the rest of America when they pick the Yankees, just based on what they've done in the past.
Bronson Arroyo against Ted Lilly today. You're a big fan of Bronson Arroyo.
I love Bronson Arroyo, and then we mentioned also at the Open, Tommy, how hard it would be for a young pitcher to start opening day because of all the pomp and circumstances of the celebration, the introduction of the former players in the Super Bowl. His schedule in throwing, he's already expended a lot of energy, and hopefully have a few short innings early on so he can get his feet back underneath him.
With the addition of Curt Schilling, this is a very, very good starting rotation. Bronson Arroyo makes no bones about it. He wants to be part of the starting rotation.
Whether it's opening day or any other day, every start for me is going to be huge, to try to establish myself as a guy who can pitch in this rotation and, not kill Pedro and Schilling having to come back on 3 days rest or anything like that. And so for me, it's just going to be another game to focus, and I need to get out, to a good start and let Terry know that I can handle the opportunity.
Love the confidence, love the attitude, love the way he pitched last season when he got called up.
Well, that's him. He's level all the way across. What you see in that clip right there is how he is on the mound. I mean, this guy has got ice water in his veins. As you said, he did pitch very well down the stretch last season. Arguably, could have pitched more in the postseason than he did in a couple of circumstances, but he did not. He's a chance to help this ball club right now. And you know what, Tommy? They don't miss a beat with Kim being out.
Okay, we are ready for baseball. The home opener at Fenway Park. Let's go to Sean McDonough and Jerry Remy.
Start here at Fenway Park. Sunsplash day, just a couple of clouds overhead. Comfortable temperature, certainly a far cry from last year's home opener that got postponed due to weather after the opening day ceremonies were completed. First pitch at Fenway is strike one. Johnson 2 for 9 in their series against the Tigers. Arroyo working quickly, and it's quickly 0-2.
You mentioned the fact that the Red Sox got in very early this morning, and most working without sleep. Arroyo had the benefit of traveling back early, and at least he was one rested member of the Red Sox coming into today's game.
ball, 1-2. Red Sox 2-2 after opening the season in Baltimore. And a good breaking ball for strike 3. Johnson caught looking for the first out of the ball game.
Let's take a look at the defense today for the Red Sox. They've made 2 errors in the 4 games that they've played. It's Bill Miller at third base, Pokey Reese the shortstop, Mark Bellhorn at second, and David Ortiz at first. Left to right, Manny Ramirez, Johnny Damon, and Kevin Millar. Jason Varitek doing the catching for Arroyo.
Frank Catalanato the batter, and he takes the ball low and away. .250 so far for Catalanato. He had .299 last year. The kind of guy you expect to hit 300 plus every season. There's a chance to be an everyday player in Toronto, and he has taken advantage of it. An occasional power with those 13 homers in 133 games. Little number foul. 2 balls and a strike on the Long Island, New York native Frank Catalanato.
Last time this year, Arroyo was down in AAA and becoming the International League Pitcher of the Year before being called up by the Red Sox late in August.
I didn't see him very often late last year, but when we did, he was very good. Line to right and a long run for Millar. He's going to have to chase it down all the way in the corner. At least 2 for Catalanato. He is not going to stop at second, and he's into third easily. He slid, didn't have to. A 3-base hit with 1 out in the first for Frank Catalanato.
Well, it seems like every series the Red Sox play against the Blue Jays, Frank Catalanato is doing something good offensively for the Blue Jays. It's that fastball that stays out over the plate, hooks it past Kevin Millar in right field, and Catalanato, with just a little hesitation around second, continues on for the 1-out triple.
In the first inning, the Red Sox with the infield back, 1 out, and Vernon Wells at the plate. And a pop-up right out in front of home plate. David Ortiz takes charge, 2 outs. Big second out made by Wells on the pop-up.
Vernon Wells a little bit over anxious with that man in scoring position and only 1 out. He jumps on the first pitch and pops it straight up to the infield. Looked for a second like Varitek was going to try to make the play. But, of course, anytime that first baseman can call him off, you do so, and that's exactly what David Ortiz did.
Now Arroyo can get out of the first inning unscathed if he can dispatch Carlos Delgado. No easy task. Carlos off to a slow start. Had 1 for 10, but he was an MVP candidate last year. Tough way to start the season when you're swept at home by the Detroit Tigers. Delgado lines one to center. Damon is there, and Arroyo gets out of the inning without allowing a run. After a half inning, the Blue Jays nothing, and the Red Sox coming up. Off. Bill Miller at third base. Ellis Burks, the DH, batting third. And Manny Ramirez, the cleanup hitter in left field. David Ortiz at first base. Kevin Millar in right field. Jason Varitek, the catcher, to hit 7th. Mark Bellhorn, the second baseman, and Pokey Reese, the shortstop, batting 9th.
And doing the pitching today for the Blue Jays will be Ted Lilly. Of course, last year with the Oakland Athletics was 12-10 on the season with the A's. He has yet to beat the Red Sox 0-2 in his career, but he did pitch a very good game against the Red Sox in the playoffs. Was not involved in the decision, but only gave up 2 runs in 7 innings.
And his first pitch is a ball low to Johnny Damon. Johnny at 300, thanks largely to that 5-hit game he had in the Baltimore series. In the hole, Chris Woodward from deep short. Nice play to get the speedy Damon for the first out of the inning.
Take a look at the defense now for the Blue Jays. They've made 4 errors in the 3 games they played against Detroit. Eric Hinsky will be at third base. Chris Woodward, the shortstop. Orlando Hudson at second, and Carlos Delgado at first. Left to right, Frank Catalanato, Vernon Wells, and Reed Johnson. And Kevin Cash doing the catching.
Bill Miller, the batter. And he looks at a strike. Last year's American League batting champion at 286 to begin this season with 2 runs batted in.
Red Sox today will see a cross-seam fastball, a sinking fastball, a cutter, slider, curve, and change from Ted Lilly. Just about a little bit of everything.
And he'll be on an 85-pitch limit here today. He did not see a full spring training because of a bizarre injury. He hurt his wrist while moving a television set, and that cost him some time in spring training. He didn't have a full camp. Carlos Tosca is the Blue Jay manager. They believe they've improved, particularly with the additions to their pitching staff. Lilly and Miguel Batista has come over from Arizona. They brought back 35-year-old Pat Henkin, who had a very good second half of last season. We saw Henkin pitch a beauty against the Red Sox in Baltimore last year. Henkin had the 3rd best ERA in the American League in the second half of last season. Miller pops it up over by the Toronto dugout, and Hinske near the rail makes the catch. 2 down here in the first.
Yeah, it had to be very frustrating, Sean, for the Jays to lose those first 3 games against the Tigers at home, all the changes they've made. And of course, a very good offensive club. There's no question about that. And they tried to upgrade their pitching. They think they have done that. And they think they can make a move in the American League East.
Well, they've been stuck in 3rd place. Order has finished exactly the same the last 5 years in the American League East. And that might not change this year. Red Sox hope it does, that they can leapfrog over the Yankees. I know in Baltimore they hope that this is the year they can at least move ahead of Toronto, although that pitching staff that the Red Sox face looks like it's still a little bit short in Baltimore.
Yeah, everybody has improved in the division, and the only question about the Orioles, all the young pitchers they had. Red Sox saw a good one yesterday in Riley. He looked like he's got a very good arm.
Ellis Burks got a big ovation during the introduction of the starting lineups. Popular player when he began his career here, and he's likely to finish his career in a Red Sox uniform. Ellis quickly in an 0-2 hole. He's off to a 1-for-11 start. His one hit was a solo homer in the Baltimore series. 0-2 fastball off the mitt of the catcher Cash. Roy Halladay, of course, the ace of this Toronto staff. He'll pitch here tomorrow. He got roughed up by the Tigers on opening day, last year's American League Cy Young Award winner. And the 5th member of their starting rotation is Josh Towers. They haven't needed him yet with the off days here at the beginning of the season. They were happy to have an off day yesterday to regroup after that debacle against Detroit. No question the Tigers are better. But to lose 3 in a row to start the season at home to a team that almost set the record for most losses in a season last year is still not the way you hope to get off.
No, and of course they had the off day yesterday, and they were probably watching the Red Sox game last night, hoping that would probably continue to go about maybe 25 innings.
Yes.
It just about did end up that way.
Maybe they sabotaged the plane. Red Sox had a mechanical problem. They wound up switching planes after sitting at the gate for a long time in Baltimore last night. Burke strikes out. A 1-2-3 inning for Lilly after 1 on opening day. No score. Josh Phelps leads off the second inning and looks at a fastball for a ball from Bronson Arroyo. Phelps the DH. To be followed by Eric Hinske and Orlando Hudson here in the second. Arroyo struck out 1 in the first, gave up 1 out triple, but got 2 tough hitters to get out of the jam. Got Vernon Wells to pop out and Carlos Delgado to line to center. Close, but called the ball. He's thrown a couple of very close pitches here. Marty Foster is the home plate umpire with Joe Brinkman at first. Tim Cheetah at second and Jeff Nelson the umpire at third. Foul tip into the mid of Veritek in a full count.
You see how Arroyo kind of slings the ball toward home plate, that sidearm delivery, and I think it's very, very difficult, especially for right-handers, to pick up that breaking ball.
He threw a number of pitches in that at bat that were very close, but it's a leadoff walk to Phelps.
Once again, the breaking ball from Arroyo, very close on that outside corner. Certainly not too low, I don't believe. Although Veritek did kind of pull it back toward the corner and up a little bit.
Arroyo, 27 years old, a Floridian, born in Key West, lives in Brooksville, Florida. Tall and thin, 6'5", 190 pounds. And the backdoor breaking ball missed outside Derek Hinsky. He's 1 for 10. You'll see a lot of ugly averages for these Blue Jays. Mike Barnett is their hitting coach. He felt that they were very anxious, overly anxious in that first series against Detroit. He studied the 81 outs they made in the 3-game series, and on 61 of them the hitter was out on his front foot because he made an out. And I guess that's a little natural at the beginning of the season. You're anxious to get those hits and have your average look good in the paper.
That's exactly right. Everybody wants to get off to a good start, and you know they've got a lot of young players on this team, and you do get a little bit over anxious early in the season, try to pull the ball maybe a little too much out on that front foot. Once they get into the flow of the season, you know this is going to be a very good offense.
And it should be even better. You saw the numbers for Hinsky. He had a disappointing year last year, following up his Rookie of the Year campaign 2 years ago. But a lot of that was a product of the wrist injury, which required surgery done by the Red Sox team Dr. Bill Morgan, in the opinion of most, the foremost hand and wrist surgeon in the world. Lined in the right and a base hit. On to second goes Phelps, so the Blue Jays have the first 2 men on here in the second inning.
Well, Red Sox fans have purchased more than 2.4 million tickets for 2004, but thousands still available, including some of these weekend games against the Blue Jays. After the Easter Sunday ball game, kids were invited down to the field here at Fenway to run the bases. Log on to RedSox.com or call 877-RED-SOX-9 to get your tickets today.
Well, the monster seats were a big hit here at Fenway last year, and it looks like those right field roof seats will be as well. Picnic style seating out there. A great vantage point. Looks like a fun place to be. Orlando Hudson looked at a ball. He's 2 for 11 to open the season. And a foul ball for strike 1. Earlier today they had a ribbon cutting ceremony out on the right field roof. Larry Lucchino, Tom Werner, many of the Red Sox partners, many of the construction folks who worked so hard to build it. And I think one of the things that's been so impressive, Jerry, whether it's the 2 additional rows in the front row that they put in 2 years ago, the green monster seats, are now this construction. Everything looks as if it's been here since the ballpark was built. Nothing screams out new construction.
You know, for years and years you couldn't imagine anything different than what we had here at Fenway Park. You're exactly right, Sean. Everything that has been done seems to fit nicely, and you're right, it seems like it's been here forever.
The 1-1 pitch to Hudson is bounced foul into the Red Sox dugout.
Don't expect too many steals from the Blue Jays. Don't expect too many sacrifice bunts. They were last in the league last year in both of those categories.
Phelps and Hinsky at second and first respectively, with nobody out here in the second. Hudson, better known as a good glove man, takes the ball high. As a matter of fact, their general manager J.P. Ricciardi, the Massachusetts native, believes that he is a Gold Glove caliber second baseman. Last year led the American League in assists. Will give you an idea of his range in the infield at second base. Ball a little bit high, and it's a full count.
He's done a pretty good job there too, as we look at Ricciardi laying off that high fastball. He had that shot of the ribbon cutting out there. Did you notice Tom Werner? Did he look a little tired to you?
He was on the plane last night.
Yeah, he was on our flight last night. I think that's the last one he's going to take with the team.
You are remarkably peppy, given that you did not sleep at all last night.
A lot of coffee, Sean.
See if the runners go. Unlikely. Phelps not a fast runner at second, and he has a very short lead. breeze blowing across the field from left to right here at the start of the ball game on a very comfortable opening day. And there's ball 4. So a walk, a single, and another walk, and the bases are loaded for the Blue Jays. And the message given to the Blue Jay hitters by Mike Barnett is paying off. He wanted them to be more patient, work the counts, and they are doing that against Arroyo.
And you know something else, they may be a little bit more relaxed coming to play on the road. Even though it's opening day here at Fenway Park, they got into a bit of a rut at home in front of their home fans. It seems like when you play like that, when you get on the road, you tend to play a little bit more relaxed. And they've had some pretty good swings. And as you mentioned, much more patient in the first couple of innings.
Dave Wallace out to visit Arroyo. Arroyo 27, but with limited major league experience, and you know he has to be a little bit excited about starting the home opener. Parts of season spent in the majors in 2000, 2001, and 2002 with Pittsburgh, and the 6 games last year with the Red Sox. Chris Woodward, the batter. Ball 1 low. 2 for 10 this year for Woodward, who's 1 for 21 in his career with the bases loaded. And the breaking ball catches the inside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. Arroyo's never had a full season in the majors. In the starting rotation to begin the year, in part due to the injury to Young-Hyun Kim. Arroyo was likely to be a long man in the bullpen. With the injury to Kim, that opened up the number 5 spot in the Red Sox rotation.
And good news to report on all 3 fronts. Garcia-Parra feeling better. Certainly Trot Nixon feeling better. And Kim has also been doing a lot of throwing down in Florida.
It was clear watching the Baltimore series that the Red Sox offense misses Garcia-Parra and Nixon. How could that not be the case when you're talking about hitters of their caliber?
Well, we've been talking about that all spring. I mean, you know, Red Sox at the start, because of injuries, may not score as many runs, but if they have that good solid pitching like they did in the series in Baltimore, they should be able to win some ball games and stay at least competitive up at the top.
And a little pop-up, shallow right center. Bellhorn plays it awkwardly. Very late in the game did the umpire signal the infield fly rule was in effect. So Woodward pops out.
Bases loaded. Woodward gets a pitch that looks to be up and away and just pops it up. Bellhorn, for a while, it didn't look like he might get to this. But he is able to get back and make the catch, and of course, can't tag at third base, not deep enough.
Kevin Cash, the batter. And he takes a breaking ball for a strike. 1 for 10 this season. He will be their starting catcher through most of the year with the veteran Greg Myers backing up. Cash, another guy better known for his defensive skills. 0-2 the count.
Oh, when in trouble, he's gone right to that breaking ball, quickly ahead of Cash.
.53 degrees at game time. I would have guessed it was even warmer than that. It seemed warmer than that being on the field. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So Arroyo trying to do it again. He got out of a runner on third, 1-out situation last inning. In this inning, the Blue Jays loaded the bases with nobody out. Now they're 2 down, and the runners still at first, second, and third.
And he was going to stay with that slider until Cash proved that he could make contact, and he didn't prove it in that at bat.
Second strikeout for Arroyo, who's been through this Toronto batting order once now. Here's Reed Johnson, who looked at strike 3 leading off the ball game last inning. No score in the second, and the first pitch to Johnson, a strike. Red Sox had a tough time with Toronto last year. Just won the season series by 1 game, 10-9. Red Sox really had trouble with those 2 teams right below them in the standings last year. 10-9 against both the Blue Jays of Carlos Tosca and the Baltimore Orioles. Toward the wall and left. And off the wall, almost halfway up. 2-run score on a wall singled by Reed Johnson. So Arroyo could not escape this time. And Toronto has a 2-0 lead.
And that's a huge hit, obviously, for Johnson, because, you know, here's a team that's been struggling. They had the bases loaded. Arroyo was able to get back-to-back outs, but the 2-out base hit on the breaking ball up off the wall puts the Blue Jays in the lead. Manny barehands it off that left field wall, gets it back into second base.
2-run wall single, bringing in Phelps and Hinsky. Orlando Hudson went to third, first and third with 2 outs. 3 hits in the game now for the Jays. And Frank Catalanato is the batter. Jays offense is excellent, and the Red Sox experienced that firsthand last year. As they would say in Toronto, the Jays offense scored 10 or more runs 6 times last year in the 19 games against Boston. Including a stretch of 4 straight meetings. A game in April, the last game of a series, and then a series May 30th, 31st, and June 1st, when they scored 10 runs or more in each of those games. They can light up the scoreboard. Didn't do it much against Detroit to open the season. A foul ball on a count of 0-2 on Catalanato. He doubled into the, or tripled rather, into the right field corner in the first inning. It's been a taxing inning for Bronson Arroyo. He's thrown 30 pitches here in the second. A total of 39 so far in the ball game. He's not out of the second yet. He nearly nipped Catalanato with that one.
With most teams in this count 1-2 and 2 outs, you say look out for the possibility of the double steal, and of course Miller way off the line at third base, so that means Hudson can get way down the line. But with the Blue Jays, they don't do much of that.
Hit on the ground to Bellhorn on the first for the out. Blue Jays get 2 and Strand 2 after an inning and a half. 2-0 Toronto. Nation out in full force on opening day. Toronto leading 2-0. A 2-run single by Reed Johnson. And Manny Ramirez in his first home at bat of the season looked at a strike from Ted Lilly.
Manny's had great success too against Lilly. 5 for 9 with a couple of home runs.
Off to a 3-13 start, looking for his first homer. Skies that along the right field line, drifting over near the pole, and it's caught by Reed Johnson. I mentioned the breeze blowing across the field from left to right, and that seemed to push the ball toward the pole. That in the slice off the bat. League leaders brought to you by General Motors.
Sunday nights on NESN, the Mad Fisherman Charlie Moore takes over to bring you NESN Outdoors. Each Sunday night, Charlie will take you through the best outdoor programming that New England has to offer. So don't miss the Mad Fisherman Sunday on NESN. Now back to Fenway for more Red Sox baseball.
Here's David Ortiz, another one of the leading candidates for the American League MVP award last year. He slices one over by the press box to our left. 273 this year for David. He's been up 11 times with 3 hits, one of them a home run. Lilly missed low. Now he should learn the lesson you've learned a long time ago, Ted Lilly, that is. Don't move your own TV. You know, you have the helpers around the estate move things for you.
Yeah.
But Ted Lilly moving his own TV hurt that wrist.
Get some freak injuries in the game of baseball.
Some of which I've not believed over the years.
There have been some, some phonies, I think.
But I don't know why you'd make up I hurt my wrist.
No. That's sounds legitimate, but there have been a couple in Red Sox history that you'd have to
Wade
question.
Boggs comes to mind as one who had some injuries that occasionally had you wondering, did that really happen? He hurt himself pulling off his boot. Ortiz hits one high in the air to left. And Catalanotto the catch. Breeze clearly knocked that one down just a bit. 2 outs. Well, the Red Sox had a wild night in Baltimore and a much longer night than they would have liked. First, the extra inning game, which was extended on a great throw by Johnny Damon to cut down Melvin Mora trying to score the game-winning run. Then the key play in extra innings, an appeal play was successful for the Red Sox, but in the end, too many walks, and the entire staff, particularly Bobby Jones, who walked in the winning run. Larry Bigby drew the 4th walk of that inning.
Bobby Jones in that game. Ramiro Mendoza today put on a disabled list by the Red Sox, and Mark Melasker has been called up from the minor leagues.
Arrived just in time for the ceremony. Ramiro Mendoza on a 15-day L with shoulder tendonitis, which explains why he wasn't in the game at the end of that ball game last night. Red Sox losers last night in 13 innings to split that 4-game series with Baltimore. 4 walks from Bobby Jones in the bottom of the 13th. And I knew as I was reading those names during this introduction of the team that Bobby Jones was going to get a welcome to Boston.
That's too bad.
One appearance, it didn't go so well. Here are your boos. When he was great last night, he would have received a thunderous ovation. That's just the way it is.
A lot of big ovations. Kurt Schilling certainly getting one. Ellis Burks returning to the Red Sox.
How about young John Castillo singing the national anthem?
Great.
He was tremendous. That was not on tape. Millard at deep third. Hinsky an errant throw, and he is out. Another 1-2-3 inning. Lilly's retired the first 6 after 2-2-0 Jays. It sold out Fenway Park on opening day 2004. The Toronto Blue Jays the visitors, and they have a 2-0 lead on a bases loaded single by Reed Johnson last inning. Vernon Wells pulls one foul and left. Wells came up in the first inning with a runner at third and 1 out and popped out to the first baseman Ortiz out in front of the plate. I remember a couple of years ago when Buck Martinez was the manager, he told us that this young man would be an MVP in the American League one day, and it didn't take long for him to demonstrate that he had that potential. What a year he had last year as an all-star. Hit .317 with 33 homers and 117 runs batted in. Stole 4 bases.
First in the American League in hits with .215, and those average home run and RBI numbers you gave, that led all American League center fielders in that category.
He did not go hitless in 3 straight games all year long last year. Went hitless in 2 in a row only 5 times. So he was consistently good from start to finish. Won his first career Silver Slugger. Jerry mentioned he led the league in hits, only the second Blue Jay ever to do that. Paul Molitor was the other in '93 when the Blue Jays were world champs. He strikes out to open up the third.
Well, for every Friday.
For all the goings on involving the Boston Bruins, check out Bruins Breakaway. See what goes on with the black and gold as we go inside the locker room and check in with the guys as they continue their battle for the Stanley Cup. Bruins Breakaway tomorrow at 5:30 here on NESN. Now let's return to Fenway Park, the Red Sox and the Blue Jays.
I know you had to walk 10 feet, so you didn't make it, but it was delicious. We're up in the conference room having a great time.
I'm sorry I missed it today. I'm certainly looking forward to next Friday.
There are going to be themes. You know, if Texas is in town, we're going to have barbecue. If Kansas City's here, we're going to have steaks. This is going to be a great thing for us.
What about when New York's here?
Well, there's probably a good line in there somewhere, but I can't think of it fast enough.
I tried to set you up.
Probably have a big apple just to be kind and charitable toward the umpire. Delgado smashed one right down the line, but the Red Sox had the shift on in the infield. Ortiz was on the line, And the shortstop race over the right side of the infield. Bellhorn playing in what would ordinarily be the hole, and that shift paid off for Terry Francona.
Now that's twice that Delgado's hit the ball hard today, but both times right at somebody. First time to center field, and that time to David Ortiz at first base. Ortiz probably telling Delgado, look, you don't have to hit the ball that hard to me.
Josh Phelps, the batter. He walked and scored their first run last inning. Now, if you did not know better, wouldn't you think these are the Tampa Bay Devil Rays?
Every time I look at that uniform, I want to say the Devil Rays.
They have the same colors now. They went away from their traditional white and Blue Jay blue. And they look exactly like the Devil Rays. I like their old uniforms a lot better than this. It's almost like they copied Tampa Bay. Why would you want to copy Tampa Bay in anything? This has been very controversial up in Toronto. Just for their history dating back to the late 70s, they always had the maple leaf on the uniform, and they don't have it anymore. And there are a lot of folks up there in Canada who are very upset about that. And Phelps hit in the back. Looked like he got it around the shoulder blade. And the Jays have a runner with 2 outs here in the third. We're going to have to get our friend Joseph Abboud down here and have him consult the Blue Jays. You're going to change your uniform to make them better, not worse, and make yourselves into twins with the Tampa Bay Devil Rays.
I always liked the uniforms that the Blue Jays had. They were unique. They were different, tasteful.
Thank you, Mr. Blackwell. Eric Hinsky looks at a ball outside. They singled to right and scored the second run on the Reed Johnson 2-run single last inning. Toronto leading 2-0. In the visitors' half of the third. A ball. 55 pitches now from Arroyo.
Now this is much better weather than we expected. All we kept hearing on the road is that it was going to be in the low 40s with maybe some rain and drizzle, and this is great for opening day.
I talked to Mish Michaels and Ed Carroll and Barry Burbank and all of our weather people, and they worked on it. Line toward left center and run down by Damon. A nice running catch by Johnny as the ball was slicing away from him. Blue Jays leave a runner. They've stranded 4. They lead 2-0. Fenway Park, Jason Varitek ready to lead off the bottom of the third against Ted Lilly, who's pitching with a 2-0 lead. He's retired all 6 Red Sox hitters so far. And he throws a fastball at the knees for a strike. Varitek off for 2 for 12 start. 167 average with an RBI. Red Sox hit just 237 in that series in Baltimore. Good changeup for a strike. Let's check in with Dan Roach with some very special guests.
All right, thank you very much, Sean. Yeah, we're joined by Robert Kraft, owner of the Patriots, son Jonathan Kraft as well. We're in the Patriots box. What a special ceremony is. Robert, you threw out the first pitch. How did that feel here at Fenway Park?
Having come here for the first time over 50 years ago and walking up the tunnel right behind home plate and seeing the green monster and getting chills, and then to think that the Red Sox management ownership was kind enough to let us come out here and celebrate with them today, opening day. I got goosebumps, and I wanted to be sure I wasn't going to throw a skip ball there.
You did a nice job.
Well, thank you.
2-time Super Bowl champions. Has it sunk in yet?
It's a great thrill. You know, that's why all of us buy these teams, and we couldn't be happier. But tell you what we've noticed is the difference with our players. Last time, I think they saw what happened the next year, and we didn't make the playoffs at the end, and they know how hard we got to work to maintain that level, and we hope we're not done bringing championships home to New England.
Jonathan, you've been an integral part of building this tremendous football team. What kind of thoughts go through your mind now as you've won 2? I mean, people start to throw that dynasty word out.
Well, people can throw it. We're not going to talk about it. We look at that. There we go. Big hit. But we're just going to go out each year and try to win, and hopefully at the end of a couple decades, or our family's tenure, people can look back and see a new stadium and hopefully see a number of championships. And really the idea is to be competitive year in and year out and provide the people who come and watch a great experience.
Can you guys rub some of this stuff off on the Red Sox?
We're going to try. That's what Robert was today. He put his hand down on the Gillette Stadium field, and then we're trying to bring it. My dad took me here with his dad when I was about 6 years old for the first time. We sat on the third base line, and we desperately want to see it happen. We believe it will. Here's the ball.
We had John Henry touch this ball right before we threw it out. So if there's any good karma, we hope it comes and it happens, and we have a lot of reasons to celebrate this fall.
Well, gentlemen, thank you very much. Good luck, and we'll be looking for a third one.
Thanks. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Thanks, Dan.
All right, Sean, Jerry, let's go back to you.
Thank you, Dan. Obviously a personal moment there before the game. Blue Jays lead 2-0 here in the third inning. And the Crafts have been a long time. They both mentioned it, Robert and Jonathan, lifelong Red Sox fans, and they don't just show up every now and then. For many years, they've had season tickets long before they owned the Patriots. There was talk way back when at one time Mr. Kraft was interested in buying the Red Sox. There was Richard Seymour alongside. And he did throw a very good pitch. That's a very nerve-wracking thing, to walk out there and throw out the ball in front of 35,000 people. All you can think of is don't bounce it and don't throw it over the catcher's head.
Yeah, I still got that baseball, too, for a souvenir. They have certainly set the standard, haven't they, around here?
And you have to give them all the credit in the world. When they inherited a dilapidated stadium, a team that was starting on the way up with Bill Parcells, but to build that beautiful facility as they have and to maintain winning now for many years, they deserve all the credit in the world. Aaron throw to first by Hudson, so Bellhorn safe on a fielder's choice. They do not turn two. Varitek, who started the inning with a single, well called in mid-sentence, we might add, by Jonathan Kraft, eliminated 5-4 at second base, and he helped cause the errant throw.
Jason Varitek always going hard into second base, and second basemen get to know that. They know the guys that are going to consistently come in hard, and every once in a while it makes you rush a throw. That looked like it was going to be a certain double play ball, but it was not even really close at first base.
A runner at first with one out. Bellhorn draws a throw. And the batter, Pokey Reese, in his first Fenway Park at bat. Two for 11 in the Baltimore series. But he showed us again why he won a couple of Gold Gloves over in the National League.
Pokey Reese, of course, suspected to play second base, but he's doing it right now at shortstop in the absence of Garcia Parra. Two nice plays there by Reese, and then David McCarty at the other end.
Pokey got a very nice hand during the introduction to lineups. I mentioned his story in spring training of a man who overcame incredible poverty in South Carolina as a young boy. Bounced down to third. Hinsky didn't even look at second. Throws to first for the out. Bellhorn wasn't all that close to second base when Hinsky fielded the ball, but it was never a thought, it appeared.
Yeah, the way he played it, it almost looked like he thought maybe there were 2 outs in the inning. But You're right, Sean. It was not even a consideration for him to go to second base. And if he did go to second base, he's got the lead runner. Instead, the Red Sox have a man in scoring position.
And I think you're right. I think he thought that was going to be the third out of the inning.
That's the way he played it.
Yep. They clearly had a very good chance at Bellhorn. Johnny Damon takes a ball outside.
Well, the Red Sox fans get their first-hand look at Johnny Damon's new look.
Friend and colleague Bob Lobel has been calling him. I don't know if you've seen the sportscast, but you've been in Baltimore. Johnny Damon superstar. Following off his foot. And a little slow to get up. Jim Rowe wondering if he should come out, and he will. It certainly was a very eventful series in Baltimore for Johnny Damon, starting with his collision with Kevin Millar. Of course, Johnny got the worst of it in the playoffs in Oakland last year. That time Millar was knocked down. A great catch. And of course, last night, the play we showed you earlier, Johnny Certainly does not have a great arm, but this was an outstanding throw.
And also in that, he had that 5-hit game for the Red Sox. And all of those 5 hits that night going to the opposite field.
Damon trying to walk it off. And he keeps having 5-hit games. I think the hair and beard will stay for a while. These guys tend to be superstitious.
I'm just wondering how long that can possibly get. You know, if he has a couple of long hitting streaks and is afraid to trim it up.
Theo Epstein quoted in the paper the other day saying the Red Sox really don't have any problem with it. Some teams, obviously, you couldn't do that. Rules about length of hair and facial hair, but not the Red Sox.
The group that changed all that were the Oakland Athletics in the mid-70s.
I wonder what that's going to be like when it's 95 degrees and humid. Two and two now on Johnny. 2 outs, a runner at second. 2-0 Toronto, bottom of the third. That looks like a fun time out there in right field, doesn't it?
It really does.
I want to go out there. I didn't have time before the game today to go out there and check out those new seats. Little pop fly could be a problem, and it is. A base hit for Damon and a run for the Red Sox. So Hinsky's brain cramp really costly down to Toronto, and the Red Sox are on the board.
Johnny Damon trying to stay away from the strikeout, just kind of flicks at this ball. Breaking ball away, flicks at it, and just drops it in front of Reed Johnson out in right field. And you're right, Shane, exactly right. And Hinsky going to second base, the Red Sox would still not have a run.
Second hit for the Red Sox, both here in the third inning. 4th RBI of the year for Damon, which ties him with Manny Ramirez for the team lead. Not that that's a big point 5 games into the season. Bill Miller popped out in foul ground to Hinsky over by the rail in the first inning. And a pop up on the other side this time by Canvas Alley. A long run. Orlando Hudson. What a play. What a play. Orlando Hudson, we mentioned earlier, J.P. Ricciardi thinks he could be a Gold Glove winner at second base, and plays like this one help you win a Gold Glove. It ends the inning. The Red Sox are on the board.
The Stanley Cup playoffs continue for the Boston Bruins. Up next, Game 2 against the Montreal Canadiens. Tonight, live at the Fleet Center. The action starts with the Olympia Sports Boston Globe pregame report at 6:30. Face-off at 7 o'clock. Now back to Fenway for the home opener. Red Sox and Blue Jays with Sean and Jerry.
4th inning on opening day at Fenway. The Red Sox have cut the deficit in half. Johnny Damon a bloop hit to drive in the Red Sox run. And Orlando Hudson. Well, let's say it for the first time of many, Jerry. How many times does it happen a guy makes a great play to win the inning and leads off the next?
Well, that really was a great play, too, by the second baseman. It's a great speed by Hudson and also great courage by Hudson, because he knew very quickly that he was coming up on that wall in the warning track area. Full out, goes into the slide and makes the catch. Terrific play by the second baseman. I mean, he really, Robert Kraft's up there looking for a wide receiver. He might want to consider Hudson on that. He went a long way to get that.
It was not a rhetorical question I asked you. How many times a year does it happen? Say that.
I'm going to say roughly 27 times.
Okay, well, let's keep track. That's 1. So we'll have to divide by 7, since we're only together once a week. And then it'll have to happen on those specific nights. So this is probably not a scientific survey that we could do together. You could keep track of it the whole year. Why don't we keep track of it on the RemyReport.com?
Hey, that's very good, Sean.
Isn't that good?
That's
there
good.
you go. A little smooth plug for you there.
You know, I think we started this last year and never had the same conversation.
Well, we tend to have really good ideas, but we're very forgetful. At least we think they're good ideas. Ball 4, second time Hudson has walked. 3 walks and a hit batsman now for Bronson Arroyo. Major League steals leaders are brought to you by DSL. Things are the Major League Steals leaders. That's appropriate. Those guys are fast. Verizon DSL, extremely fast. That's the tie-in there, if you're wondering at home. Synergy, we call it in business. Or in industry. Some of us prefer to call it an industry, actually. It's a business, an industry. Chris Woodward fouled one away. He popped out with the bases loaded and nobody out in the second inning. Arroyo almost emerged unscathed from that inning, but 2-out single by Reed Johnson drove in the Toronto runs. This could be an important year for Woodward. They've been waiting for a couple of years for him to fully develop. They felt all along he's had a lot of potential, hits for some power, can hit for average, has a strong arm, but he really hasn't been able to put it all together. And they have a couple of high round draft choices where shortstops are coming very quickly through their system. Pop up behind the mound, handled by Pokey Reese for the first out. Remember, they have a first round draft choice out of LSU who they think could be along very shortly. Aaron Hill. They have another prospect, Russ Adams, who are both former college players. And Toronto very much following that Oakland model. J.P. Ricciardi was a scout for Oakland. Billy Beane with an emphasis on drafting college players rather than high school players. He likes the longer body of work to examine. It's easier to figure out what somebody's like when they're 20 or 21 than it is when they're 17.
They're also playing against much better competition at that age too than when they're 17.
Kevin Cash, the hitter, off the end of the bat, a 32 hopper that goes into right field. Hudson on to third. So a seeing eye single, and here come the Blue Jays again. They've had runners in every inning, and they have first and third with one out here in the fourth.
It sounded and looked like it was right toward the end of the bat for Kevin Cash, and a lot of spin. He's looking toward left field, but the ball is actually heading toward right field on the ground. Orlando Hudson jumps over, and even though it didn't get that far by Bellhorn, Hudson able to go into third base. So there have been a lot of opportunities for the Blue Jays early in this game.
They left 4 men on in the first 3 innings. Here's Reed Johnson, who has the biggest hit of the game. The single off the wall and left with the bases loaded and 2 outs. That knocked in the 2 Toronto runs. And he takes a fastball for strike 1.
What a story, Reed Johnson. A year ago, he was like kind of invited to come up to spring training camp, and he ended up making the team and playing most of the games last year. And here he is for the 2nd straight year in the starting lineup.
Yeah, they had other guys in mind to be one of their starting outfielders, but nobody really jumped out in camp. One day they just needed an extra guy, sent down for Reed Johnson. He made an impression. He became the guy. Great diving stop by Miller from his knees to Bellhorn on to first, not in time. But a nice play by Miller to take away a hit. Hudson scored to make it 3-1.
A terrific play by Bill Miller just to get it out on this play and get that out at second base. He couldn't get up and go home, so he has to go to second base. A low throw and backhanded play by Bellhorn. That throws the timing off a little bit. But I think even with a good throw, they're not going to get him at first base. But that's the only option that Bill Miller had.
And Reed Johnson has driven in all 3 runs. For Toronto, he's at first with 2 outs, and the batter Frank Catalanato. Johnson back to first. Catalanato tripled in the first inning and grounded to second in the second inning. In the air, right center, a bloop, a dive. Damon didn't get it. Millard backs it up. On to third, Reed Johnson. And a base hit for Catalanato, doing it to the Red Sox again. 2 for 3. That's one of those that probably looked better off the bat to the outfielders than it actually was.
There have been a couple of squibs in this inning. The ground ball base hit, and now this one that drops in. Johnny Damon starts off going sideways and then has to come in and can't get to it. Millar backing the play up. Right now the shadow is at almost out to the pitcher's mound with this late start this afternoon. Past 4 o'clock now. You see that shadow coming into play. Hasn't at this point seemed to affect the hitters, though.
Arroyo up to 69 pitches. Here in the 4th inning, he's thrown 41 strikes. Three to 1 Blue Jays. They're looking for more with runners at the corners and 2 outs, and Vernon Wells at the plate. Right off the end of the bat, a spinner that gets by Ortiz. Johnson scores, and now as the throw goes to second, Catalinato comes to the plate and he runs into an out. So the Blue Jays add another. They had 3 hits in the inning, and all of them were weird little bloops or bleeders, but they add up to a couple of runs and a 4-1 lead. Helps keep it a 3-run deficit for the Red Sox. Ellis Burks begins the inning against Ted Lilly and takes the ball low.
Strange play to end the inning. Again, a ball that just kind of squibs by David Ortiz. Millar's going to go into second base, but a heads-up Pokey Reese will immediately spin around and get the ball back home to Veritek in plenty of time to get Catalinato at the plate. Blue Jays trying to be aggressive there to sneak out a run. They see that throw going towards second base, but Pokey Reese was ready for it.
They credited Vernon Wells with a double since he was safe at second base. Ellis Burks looks at a strike. He struck out swinging in the first. The only strikeout for Lilly through 3 innings. He's allowed 2 hits and a run. And Burks from the extreme third base end of the rubber, and he gets Burks to chase one off the plate for strike 3.
And from that angle, that third base angle, that pitch there just kept running away from Ellis Burks off the outside part of the plate. I tell you, Lilly's been very good. He's been ahead of most hitters. He hasn't walked anybody in the game. Looks like a changeup that time, well off the outside corner, but Brooks can't stay off it.
Lilly didn't make his first appearance in the spring till March 24th because of that wrist injury while moving the television set. Down to third, a rocket by Ramirez, and a skate save made by Hinsky. The ball goes into the dugout. And Ramirez will be awarded second base.
Now, for a ball to roll that far after hitting a third baseman into the dugout, that had to really be hit hard by Ramirez.
It was. Manny lined to right his first time up.
Hinsky well behind the bag at third base, and a bullet looks like it hit him off the foot and then rolled into the dugout. That should go as a base hit, I would think, all the way.
Wow. That'll leave a mark.
Yeah, there's like no reaction time at all there.
Number 34, David Ortiz.
Now they have scored at a double for Ramirez. If you have the hockey reference, very few people paying attention to the Jays right now up there in Toronto because the Maple Leafs are in the playoffs. Ortiz looked at a strike. He flied to left his first time up.
And a lot of attention here to the Bruins.
Oh boy, did they play well the other night. I know you didn't see the game down in Baltimore, but they played very well Wednesday night against Montreal. Game 2 tonight over at the Fleet Center. Really looked toward second. Nobody covering the bag. And folks at the Fleet Center deserve a tremendous amount of credit. What a couple of days they've had with the hockey Frozen Four, college hockey's Final Four here in Boston. Wednesday, you had the Bruins and Canadians practicing in the morning to get ready for their game. And all the media, the NHL media, Nesson, all the writers, French and English TV from Montreal. You also had all 4 Frozen Four teams in there practicing, all that media. And ESPN, Ortiz pulls one toward the right field corner, and it is touched by a fan. A run will score. It's a fan interference double for Ortiz, and the Red Sox now trail 4-2.
One thing left-handers do not want to do is leave that breaking ball inside to a left-handed hitter, and that's just what happens here from Ted Lilly. Breaking ball on the inside part of the plate, and that's one that Ortiz is not going to miss. So a double of rockets, the one by Ramirez for the double that ended up in the dugout and followed quickly by David Ortiz.
First two-base hit of the year for Ortiz. And a fastball outside to Ted Lilly. Or from Ted Lilly to Kevin Millar. He grounded to third his first time up. He's the tying run at the plate. The hits are now 6-4 in favor of Toronto. Little number past the mound. And Hudson throws out Millar. We've seen a lot of cue shots and dribblers with a lot of spin.
On both sides.
Both sides. Just to finish the point, the folks at the Fleet Center to have to change the ice back and forth and all the arrangements with all the media for the two different events. And they've done it seamlessly. They deserve a lot of credit, Rich Creswick and the great folks at the Fleet Center, the Bull Gang, and Boston University hosting that event. Ed Carpenter, Jack Parker, and their staff done a great job, too.
Now, my sources tell me you did a great job doing those games yesterday, and you got the championship tomorrow, right?
A lot of fun over there at the Fleet Center yesterday. Unfortunate for the BC fans, the Eagles did not win, but congratulations to Maine. And the Black Bears will play Denver tomorrow night for the national championship on ESPN at 7 o'clock. And that is one of the toughest tickets in this city in a long time. And that rivals just about anything else that we've had here in recent years. Those Frozen Four tickets. Breaking ball close, but a ball to Varitek. One and one on Jason. He singled to center his first time up. Grounded a single up the middle. Batting with a runner at third and 2 outs. 2-1 now. Varitek career highs last season in homers and runs batted in with 25 homers and 85 knocked in. The 2-1 from Ted Lilly is high.
It's like the breeze has picked up a little, Sean, blowing out toward the bullpen area right now.
Same direction as earlier, just the velocity has picked up a little bit. We do have our UPN 38 and WBZ4 Weather Center. Maybe we get an update, Julie, on the wind velocity off of our Weather Center. Change up, swung on and missed. Out of the northwest at 7 miles per hour.
Oh, it's got to be more than that.
Seems a little more than 7, doesn't it? Check the equipment. Is Ed Carroll in here playing around with the equipment again? There is the.
It's all working.
Hard to believe that that very solid-looking apparatus might malfunction. Ball 4. Lilly comes charging in with the runner at third, but didn't get far away from Cash. The first walk given up by Ted Lilly.
Tried to go at back-to-back changeups. He had a great changeup on the 3-1 count to Varitek. Tried to follow it up again with another one, 3-2, but couldn't get it near the strike zone. I'll tell you what, though, for a guy that did not have very much spring training, this is a pretty nice start for Ted Lilly.
He won a career-high 12 games last year for Oakland. Was great in August and September. 6-0 over a stretch from August 25th to September 21st. Mark Bellhorn with a tying run at first. He's the go-ahead run at the plate. Another soft one low. 2-0 on Bellhorn, who reached on a fielder's choice and scored